In reality, they're the ones who continue to mislead the public, area communities, and other agencies such as this board. Hess LNG representatives speak out on safety of their industry all the time. What you must know is they're making very calculated and specific statements about the safety record of their industry. And I quote, "When the record is considered, you'll note that the last incidents involving death or injuries, and these are limited to employees of the facility, not the general public, occurred in the 1970s. And even then, the fact that they occurred at an LNG terminal was incidental to the cause of the accidents because these were construction accidents." To which I say, hold on one second. There have been significant accidents since the 70s. In fact, 27 people were killed in 2005 in Algeria. There have been other incidents involving leaks and ship problems, including 2 broken down ships right here off of Cape Cod in the past few years. But they would counter that these accidents weren't in America, or somehow the fact that they were construction workers, dock workers, or plant workers makes it okay and not a real accident, which I personally find ridiculous. They do have a reasonable safety record in the industry, but don't tell me that accidents don't happen, because they do. In most cases, we in the U.S. insist these type of facilities are built in areas away from population centers. That's so that we don't cause big problems in a densely populated community if a serious accident ever does happen. Don't kid yourself. At some point, another accident will happen. This industry has had serious accidents in the past, such as 128 people killed in Cleveland when a tank cracked, leaked, and then exploded fiercely. This was because of something that no one anticipated caused the tank to crack. What is it this company isn't anticipating? Is it the close proximity to the thousands of homes that could pose a risk? Is it the bridge transits with 3 feet of clearance? Is it an expansion problem with their never-been-tried cryogenic LNG transfer line buried in the bed of the bay and the river? Or is it something else that no one else has brought up yet? I don't know what it is, but I think it's very reasonable to think that there could be an incident or major accident at this facility. Many facilities have had incidents around the world. In fact, 2 the company cite as safe facilities, Cove Point, Maryland, and Everett, have both had accidents and incidents. And we all know about the power plant explosion in Connecticut, which does show that accidents do happen all the time for unexpected reasons. As I mentioned, I'm not really an environmentalist, but I do know this. They want to dredge 73 acres of the bay and build a giant multi-story platform out there. This will come with a permanent exclusion zone around it that will likely be a few thousand feet. The truly offshore facilities in Gloucester have this, and we should expect the same, if not a larger exclusion zone than they have. I can't see how this is a good thing for the environment or the bay or its users. Some have told me that there would be a loss of fish habitat, and as someone who enjoys recreational fishing, I can't see how that's good. According to the company, they want to mitigate this loss of habitat by writing a check so that someone can build some more eelgrass beds and do some quahog relocation. I'm not sure I would interpret that as mitigation. If someone takes away 73 acres of habitat, I think appropriate mitigation would be to provide 73 acres someplace else. But that doesn't appear to be how this company interprets mitigation. They seem to see it as a signature on the bottom of a check and then letting someone else spend the money on the eelgrass or quahog transfer. Now let's talk about the need. There are 2 brand new facilities that service New England that have been put online in the past year. I point this out because Everett, Mass. Had been the only LNG import terminal servicing New England since the 70s. Now we have 2 more. And contrary to what the company has recently told you, they are supplying large amounts of gas to the New England area. In fact, you've heard testimony about Northeast Gateway not being efficient or economical, and that they have to leave the ship parked out there, and that's not economical. Come on now, if this was the case, why would the current terminal operator in Everett, Suez Energy, be building their own second offshore terminal in the Boston area. If it's that inefficient, then why would this terminal operator that clearly understands the dynamics of the market be building their own? With regard to the Canaport facility in St. John, contrary to what you've been told, it is supplying gas to the New England market. I know they claim it can't because it's 600 miles away, and I quote, that's what was said. In reality, St. John is 403 miles from Boston. And the Maritimes and Northeast Pipeline goes through Maine and into Boston, and it was recently expanded. They just completed their Phase 4 expansion last January and will be doubling the amount of natural gas that they send into the Boston market to 800 million cubic feet per day. The pipeline operators have also spoken to communities along the route in Maine about the possibility for a second pipeline being built. This could very easily double that number yet again. And to be honest with you, if you want to talk about jobs, I wonder how many jobs would be created building a 400-mile pipeline throughout the state of Maine. How many jobs would be created if we expanded our other area pipelines to get more gas down here from the Boston market once it's fed by these new offshore and Canaport facilities? These would all probably be local jobs for our people. Now, I know they're trying to use jobs as a big selling point, and I know that some people in our construction trades are out of work. I personally know some of these people. They're very good people. They do need jobs, but the reality here is that I don't think that Weaver's Cove is the solution to this problem. On a project like this, there would be many people brought in from other areas. There'd be people coming in from the Boston area, coming down here, collecting Boston wages, while our guys get the local wages. There would be experts on these facilities coming in for the construction. Those people would probably come from the Gulf of Mexico areas where these big plant construction operations take place. And I'm not saying that's 100%, but I think it's reasonable to think we are going to have some people coming from other areas because we typically don't build these facilities here. The other thing that kind of bothers me is that the job numbers here have constantly changed that have been provided from this company. But one thing I would point out is that they're not guaranteed to provide any of the job numbers by FERC or any other regulatory agencies. So they can throw these numbers around however they want. But the latest number that I've heard the company like to tout is 2.5 million man-hours to build a project. And if you calculate out how many jobs that is, it would be 400 jobs over 3 years of construction, considering most people work an average of 40 hours a week. I know a lot in the construction trades work beyond that, so that would reduce that 400 number. It certainly isn't 600 jobs or 800 jobs or 1,000 jobs. It averages out 400 jobs over 3 years, and then very few once the terminal's operational. This company has stated 35 permanent jobs in the past. Now I hear they're saying 50. And I find it very interesting that as the economy's worsened, the number of jobs they're ready to hand out has grown. Call me crazy, but I don't think the effort to build one of these facilities has changed that much in the past few years. I just don't see their numbers adding up and would expect that this company would change their story anyway based on what they've done with most of what I've heard over the past few years. Lest we forget that this is their third proposal to cram this facility in on our area in the past 8 years.
Because you have quite a few pages, and I did request roughly around 10 minutes of testimony, and I see
this is my last.
Ellen also has some testimony.
This is my last, so.
If you would, then please.
Okay. Now on to the last point I'd like to make. This is really Boston's problem right now. They want it out, and they want us to take it in this area. We've all read about the many tankers recently. If you look back to the days after 9/11, Boston Harbor was shut down, and LNG tankers were prohibited from coming in. It certainly isn't because they're safe. It's because they thought that a catastrophic explosion or a pool fire from the LNG could be easily created by the terrorists if they wanted to.